thank you everybody for your patience. There is nothing I can do about technology apart from what I can control. Remember everybody, the only technology is fun. Exactly. So thank you for your patience. Welcome finally to day one of the Cut the Crap Challenge. I will do my best with this internet and hopefully you guys can listen to me. You can, So we are here today to talk a little bit about mindset. And thank you, Katie. Thanks everybody for giving me the feedback. If you're joining in on the recording, please put hashtag replay so that I know. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments here. If you haven't, pop them somewhere else because I have them open here. Alrighty, so the first thing that I want to do is welcome you all. We are here to cut the crap together. Yes? So, the first question that I have is from Katie, and it is it super important to be in a quiet, distraction-free space for the visualization? My kids are constantly interrupting, making background noise, and I've tried starting it twice without being able to finish. So, it's not really, Katie, if you can actually focus directly on what I'm saying. It is all about following instructions. So hypnosis, like I said in the video, hypnosis always works. And it's always about what is going on here. Hopefully this works now, everybody. Please let me know if you can hear me, okay? So Katie, not necessarily, as I said previously in the video that you received, hypnosis always works. It just depends on who you're actually believing. Are you actually following my instructions or are you following your own, right? So if your kids are around, you can give yourself a command if you wish, or something if you wish that would turn around and say I am going to listen to this. I'm going to follow Caroline's instructions. And this is what's, and I'm going to listen and I'm going to follow whatever she's telling me to go. And I know sometimes we get interrupted, but these are literally our own fears. Okay, maybe I'm already going a bit too deep, but I have no filter, right? But I'm on here. I'm not really understanding what's going on here. Anyway, let's see if this helps with the internet. I'm getting quite annoyed, to be honest. But anyway, shift. Come on, internet. Okay, so with this, I can't plan this. I just can't. Okay, you're terrible at cutting out the background noise. I hear something in my mind, immediately loses focus. That's also a choice, right? So we are what we say to ourselves that we are most of the time, remember? So if you keep telling yourself that you lose focus, that you will lose focus, then you will lose focus, right? So what you can do is choose a different story, choose a different belief, and you can go, okay, I'm not going to lose focus. I am going to have focus. All hypnosis is focused attention. Yes, Katie, I know you keep losing me. Everybody keeps losing me. I keep getting the screen of death, but at least I'm coming back. I'm going to keep talking. You guys can just watch the recording if but I'm hoping that this will stick now. I connected to a different internet now. So, right? Again, guys, ladies, not guys, I will tell you that all of this is your own, all of this that's going on here with the internet, it is our own combined fear of not changing, right? Because this is a big deal to me to do this challenge this time, because since I ran this challenge last time, I have changed a lot of my beliefs as well about food, about everything. So this is my manifestation. Can we please make it easier now? How can it be any easier right now, guys? Universe, how can we make it easier? How can it be easier? How does it get any better than this? Let's be in the question. Yeah. So in answer, at answering your question. It is not super duper important for you to be in a quiet place, as long as you can remove those distractions. Just make sure that when I say to you in the visualization, from now on you will listen to my voice and my voice only, you actually follow that instruction. Say to yourself, like, I am following what Caroline is telling me. I am going to be following what Caroline is telling me. Have that intention before even starting it. Okay, so the next question, Katie, I have a few questions from you, so I'm going to keep going through the questions. So number one, like one of them is, I've been trying to be more mindful about eating during meals lately. I've worked on eliminating distractions, TV, phones, work, etc., so that I can focus on being aware of what I'm eating and the actual taste of my food and my body's cues. But I have 2 small kiddos who I share all my meals with since I've been working from home the past year, and I inevitably spend every meal supervising and monitoring them and their eating rather than focusing on my own. And then I end up with an empty plate and no idea of how I'd finished or even how my food tasted. Do you have any suggestions for trying to be more mindful and aware of my food while still having to handle momming of 2 littlies who need my assistance? That's okay, Katie. Oh, this is what I'm here for. Okay, Katie, I am a very blunt person, but feel free to reject what I'm saying if it doesn't apply to you. But it so sounds to me like you're using the littlies as an excuse for something else. And feel free to reject what I'm saying if it doesn't apply to you, okay? Because your next question is about you feeling out of control with your actions and allowing yourself a cookie, and you know that should be enough. I got a taste. First things first, have self-compassion, okay? So self-compassion is really big here. Think to yourself, like one of the things that I'm going to talk about tomorrow, which I'm going to start today, is restriction is a recipe for binge eating. If you restrict yourself, sometimes you just want the cookies. Sometimes you want 2 cookies. You're allowed 2 cookies. You're allowed 3 cookies. Once you actually tell yourself that you're not allowed, you're going to want it more. Right? So the fact that you can't control yourself around cookies or however it is, first of all, you're giving away your power to the cookies. Right? So I've actually recorded this reel. So when you guys actually watch this reel, pretend that it's the first time you see it, like and comment so that I get more reach. But what if, right, you weren't cheating on your diet with your cookies? You were cheating on your cookies with your diet. Right? This is the reel I have coming up later today because I've already filmed it. So seriously, if you want a couple of cookies or 3 cookies, what would it be like for you to stop the judgment, right? Because it looks to me over here like, you know, there is some of that going on. How would it feel to you to just stop judging yourself and actually start little by little with step by step, small little baby steps? You have 2 littlies, right? And yes, mindful eating is one thing. Mindfulness is another. We need to really start paying attention, and feel free to reject what I'm saying if it doesn't apply to you. I do have to say that because I'm obviously reading your mind in ways. But mindfulness is for us to be present in the moment. So what if, right, you ate at a moment where you were present with yourself? That's great. But it sounds to me like you know, if there is a binge and restrict cycle, right? Because this is coming from experience. There's a binge and a restrict cycle. So where are you at? Are you at the binge or are you at the restrict? When you are at the restrict, being mindful and having mindful eating and do all of that, like spending every meal, like paying attention to what you're eating and stuff like that. If you're at the restrict end of it, you're going to drive yourself insane. It's going to trigger you like crazy. And then you're going to have the distractions outside you because you unconsciously are calling them in to stop you from doing that. If you're at the binge cycle, yes, that can definitely help the mindfulness. But always ask yourself, is this going to taste as good as the last time I had it? This is something that really worked for me when I was recovering. Like, is this really going to taste as good as before? Right? She says, I am so bad about being super hard on myself when I fail, and that spurs on a bigger binge. I'm just going to give you a moment there to read that again. I am so bad about being super hard on myself when I fail, and that spurs a big binge. How about we reframe that as to, is there such thing as a failure? If you want a result, you have a strategy to achieve an outcome, right? So say that a lot of people, right, they want to lose weight, so they go on a diet. And then they end up putting all the weight back on again, right? So does that mean they failed the diet? No, right? You still got a result in the end. The result was you lost it all, then you gained it back. If you want a different result, you just change your strategy, right? So if you have a binge and restrict cycle and you've been using mindfulness or mindful eating, how can you change that strategy to achieve an outcome? If you have, for instance, your kids, you're saying that you're out of control with your actions and allowing yourself to eat a cookie, you're coming from what I can see here, like a judgment, like you're saying here yourself, like you're being bad about being super hard. What if cookies were not like bad? Cookies are not bad. I love cookies. Right? So what if you started looking at the food? And I know it is hard in the beginning when we go like, oh, listen to my body, stop when I'm full, eat when I, like, you know, of course this is not an overnight thing. Was going on a diet an overnight thing? Like, did you like, or did it take you like years to learn how to go on that pattern? It's a pattern. We can shift it. Do the visualization after your kids go to bed, Katie. That could be another idea for you. It is really powerful visualization for you to see where you're at and where you want to be. Because tomorrow we are going to have a hypnosis. Oh, I'm already, spoiler alert, right? We're going to have a hypnosis where you're going to go in and fully shift it, right? And it's going to be a 24-minute or so hypnosis. And it'll be great. Is that looking at a cookie as just a cookie? Not good, not bad, just a cookie. Exactly, it's just a cookie. And kind of going, you can also ask yourself, like, what do I want from this cookie? Am I facing my stuff or am I stuffing my face? Food has no morality. Food is neither good nor bad. If someone came here with a brownie in front of me, right, I would have just gone, yeah, okay, it's a brownie, right? Do I like brownies? Yes. But do I feel like a brownie right now? No. Why? Because if I want a brownie, I'm going to eat a brownie, right? But if I just realized that I have something on. But if I actually keep telling myself, oh no, I can't have brownies because brownies are bad for me. And, you know, the brownie is not going to make you gain weight or is not going to derail you. Your thoughts derail you. And this is all about the day one. Day one is about the fact that it's your judgments and your thoughts about that food that actually create all those patterns in you. So the cookie, yes, Tiff is saying right. Like it's neither good nor bad. It is just a cookie. And I can already hear you saying, Katie, or whoever else is saying this because I can hear it in my mind, right? I'm a little, you know. But if I allow myself to eat all the cookies, then I'm going to binge the entire pack of Oreos, right? And maybe the first time that happens, maybe the first time that you do that, you know, you can just forgive yourself for doing that. And then thinking, how do I feel after I've done it? Do I feel good? Do I feel bad? Do I want to feel like that again? What am I trying to hide? What am I trying to avoid here that I wanted to find in the pack of cookies? Exactly. What do I want from this treat? What emotions are present? Remember, one of the tasks for today is what emotions are present when you're eating. right? And that is huge. From now to tomorrow, pay attention. Every time that you put something in your mouth, every time you put like anything in your mouth, could be even water, just pay attention to what is present there. Are you actually really thirsty, or are you actually hungry, or are you drinking water because you're hungry and society and diet culture tells you that you should drink some water and learn the difference, right? So what do you actually want from the cookie? And go from there. So my suggestion is ask yourself, are you facing your stuff or stuffing your face? How can you start noticing your body's cues? Start noticing what you want. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want. If I tell you right now, whatever you do, don't think of a blue tree. 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 You're thinking of a blue tree. So if I tell you right now, Katie, no cookies. No cookies, no cookies, no cookies, no cookies, no cookies, no cookies, no cookies. You are just rewiring your brain to wanting the cookies or the peanut butter cup. I love peanut butter cups. And for a while there, I didn't really allow myself to eat it. You know, what? Are you facing your stuff or stuffing your face? Yes, Belinda. This is the key, guys. That's right. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want. I know, peanut butter cups, so good. Reese's. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Is that okay, Katie? Did that answer 2 of your questions? Now I'm going to go back to continue the rest, but did that answer so far? Let me see if there's anything else about this, because I know someone asked me about... Okay. Question about hypnosis. I once did a hypnosis session for weight loss, but didn't seem to take. Do you have any suggestions for letting your mind be as open to hypnosis as possible? Is there anything one can do to make it more likely to work? Practice. Practice makes permanent, because there's no perfection. So stop saying this whole like practice makes perfect, because no. We are not striving for perfection. We are striving for consistency. And I know a lot of people hate this word, consistency, but it's true. If you consistently binge, you know you're going to consistently get a result. If you consistently think to yourself before you eat a cookie, do I really want to enjoy this cookie, or am I having this cookie because I want to feel pleasure? And sometimes it's good, right? Sometimes you can have a cookie and feel pleasure. And sometimes you can have the dopamine, receptors up because you have a cookie. But it's about you noticing, right? What else can it mean? What else can that situation mean? So hypnosis, going back to the hypnosis thing, right? What can you do to make it more likely to work? Believe that it's going to work. Because if you tell yourself, oh, this is just one more thing I'm going to do now. This, I've done so many things. This is just one more thing. This is just one more thing. It's not going to work anyway, but I'm going to do it. Right? So if you keep saying that in the back of your mind, you're going to get what you want, which is that. Even though you say you don't want it, remember, focus on what you want. No, you don't want it. No, not what you don't want. So switch that. How can you reframe that? I say, how can I make this easier for myself? This is a really key question that all of my clients in this call here right now are probably going, oh, of course she's going to say that question. How can you make it easier for yourself? Because if you are making it hard for yourself, why? So how can you make it easier? Yes, practice makes permanent. Don't strive for perfection, strive for consistency. These are big things. And practice, practice, practice. When I first started meditating, not hypnosis even, right? When I first started meditating, I could never finish a 5-minute mindfulness meditation because my mind was just going, this is too slow. I don't like yoga. Yoga's too slow for me. I had all the excuses. If it's important to me, I'm going to find a way. If it's not important to me, I'm finding an excuse. This goes for all of you as well. Somehow I just got that sense that you guys needed to hear this. If it's important to you, you find a way. If it's not important to you, you find an excuse, yeah? So just tell yourself, my intention right now is to let my mind be open to whatever Caroline is saying. And guess what? You will surprise yourself. That's why this visualization is day 1. I used to put the hypnosis on day 1, but I was just like, no, people are actually telling me, like on the first time I ran this, it used to be like, oh no, people are telling me that, you know, they can't get into it, so I'm going a little bit slower. Yes, meditation helps with hypnosis. Yep. Can I just, if you allow me to say one more thing, because you're saying that I've never been good at meditating either. I should start trying that too. So Yoda, my wonderful, I told you I was a nerd. Yoda, he has a really, really clever saying that says do or do not. There is no try, right? So if I put a pen here and I say to you, try to pick up that pen. If you do this, you've done it. Try to pick it up. Try. You're not going to do it, right? So yes, super Disney nerd. So you're not going to do it. So abolish that try and start using, how can I make it easier for yourself? Your unconscious mind likes questions because your unconscious mind is constantly searching for an answer for you. So how about, instead of saying, I've never been good at meditating, you ask yourself, how can I get better at meditating? How can I improve my meditation skills? Right? Your unconscious mind is going to start searching for that answer, going like, oh, go lay down, go do this, go do that. I'm going to make it happen for you, right? Because remember, like your unconscious mind wants to protect you, wants to do whatever you tell it to do, right? Let me see. Does that help, Katie? Let's hope. I got now another one is totally not a nutrition question. I'd love to hear more about your own journey. How did you get into hypnosis? What made you want to become a dietitian? What's your favorite part? Wow, that's a lot. I'm going to get that to the end in case people don't want to hear about me. What is your favorite part of witnessing, helping someone on this journey? And just because I'm curious, so I do have an American-ish accent. You know, nobody can place my accent. It's a hybrid. That's what I say. Okay, I'll get back to that, Katie. How do we know? Now, Elizabeth says, how do we know if we are craving, e.g. sugar, for comfort or because our body is screaming out for energy? As someone who has experienced adrenal fatigue, chronic fatigue, and burnout in the past, my body has often been desperate for fuel. It's difficult to know whether I can trust my body's cues. Is it comfort eating or energy depletion? Thank you, Caroline Power. And then Tina says, I'm interested in this too. Although I've never had the conditions that you have, that you needed fuel. This is often my mind's rationale for eating. I think I feel tired. Eating should give me energy. At least 9 times out of 10, I feel no better afterwards. Okay, so this is good. Maybe you want to start noticing how often you eat a day. If your body needs energy and if your body actually feels like it needs energy, yes, you might be feeling tired. So you might go and get something to eat. It is a process. So you can just ask yourself, okay, do I lack energy? Okay, well, I'm going to eat a little bit of this. The difference between hunger and cravings is that hunger is physiological, right? And cravings are psychological. So cravings, they come on like really quickly. And it is usually a specific thing. I think someone else asked me about cravings afterwards as well. So I'm just going to talk about cravings now. And it's like, it comes like a swoosh. You want that chocolate? Go get that chocolate right now. And you gotta like, no, I don't want it. No, I don't want it. But then you go and get it because it's a craving. Hunger is not a specific type of food. And the same goes for energy. Usually, when you are in need of energy, your body shows you a little bit of hunger, right? Hunger cues. Even an apple will be fine with your hunger cues. But if it is a craving for a specific reason, you ask yourself, what emotion are you feeling? What are you avoiding? Are you procrastinating on something? What are you avoiding here? And like I said, it's practice makes permanent. Practice, practice, practice. It is all a practice. I bet that when you started listening to your willpower, it wasn't easy in the beginning either. It's probably still not easy because I can hear some of you going like, it's not easy still. But, you know, you can actually figure out now that it is you want a specific food and not just food. And that means that you're craving some sort of emotion. And taking that on, because you're asking me as well, like, how do I know if my body's screaming out for energy? How often do you eat per day? This is important because if your body is screaming out for energy and if you're feeling hungry and all of that, that's a sign that you're not getting enough food. But again, I am not your healthcare practitioner. Please go speak to your healthcare practitioner if you want individualized advice. You know, you're not my client specifically, so I'm giving you general advice that I would give someone who would ask me that. I just have to put a disclaimer here. So how often are you eating per day? And I have many clients who actually come to me and they first want to heal their relationship with food because they think foods are bad and all of that kind of stuff. But they also say, oh, but I want to lose weight. And I go like, well, that's never going to happen because what is the first thing that comes to your mind when I tell you like, oh, so you want to lose weight? What are you going to do? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? I know what comes to mind. Go on a diet. And diet promotes disordered eating. And disordered eating, obviously, will F up your relationship with food. Sorry about the language. I just couldn't find a better word. So if that's the case, ask yourself, how many times are you eating a day? Are you eating enough per day? And if you're not eating enough per day, what else can you just add to your food? And if you are asking yourself like, oh, but I want to lose weight, then first you need to heal that relationship with what foods are going to be right for me. We're going to talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. So just wait for the video for tomorrow. I don't want to go like fully on tomorrow's topic, which is all about food and nutrition. But I will go back to that tomorrow. Can you let me know, Elizabeth, if this answers your question, and I can, circle back to that tomorrow when I'm talking about nutrition as well. For now, ask yourself what emotions are present here when you pick up the chocolate or when you pick up the cookie, or, if it is, I just want some energy, then, you can probably find an apple. And you're going to go, but an apple is not going to, curb my hunger. I go like, well, then it's not a hunger. It's a craving, right? But sometimes you just feel like a cookie. What's the worst that can happen? It is not the cookie. It's why you want the cookie. And what are you going to do after you eat the cookie? If you eat the cookie and you let it go, your body is just going to let it go the other end. Trust me when I say this. Like, I couldn't be more blunt with this because I have lived this. My clients have lived this. I have clients who do like 3 months with me. And then, I now have a full disclaimer and I say like, you cannot lose weight and heal your relationship with food at the same time. This is not the same thing. I am very much of a health at every size. I do another disclaimer here. I am a health at every size. I don't believe there is anything wrong with you or with me or with anybody else unless you prove me medically that it is, right? So if you have any sort of imbalance with your hormones or whatnot like that, then great, then we can deal with that situation. I am a dietitian once and for all, so I can do that. I can deal with that kind of stuff for you because I'm qualified for that. However, it is not like because I believe in health at every size, I believe that you have a choice and you can choose to have whatever body that you want to be, but based on what you feel is right, not what society or diet culture is telling you that is right. So if that is fully what you want because you're going to feel better, you're going to have better movement. Health is not a size, it's a feeling. I have been a size 00 in the US, which is about a 4 in Australia. And I have been a size 16 in Australia, which is about a 12 or 14 in the US, right? I was feeling unhealthy both ways. So it is not about the size. Chances are you have a photo of yourself when you were a teen or earlier in your years, and you look at that now and go like, what the heck was I talking about? What was I complaining about? It wasn't the size, people. So, okay. I tend to get quite ranty, everybody, because I'm very passionate about this. Can someone actually tell me or give me some love and tell me that this is actually resonating? Because sometimes the messages don't come through very quickly, but the love hearts and the like thumbs up and stuff like that actually will make a difference. Okay, that is totally what I tell my kids when they ask for a snack. You can have carrots if you're hungry, and if you don't want that, then you aren't really hungry. But, okay, great. How can you make it easier for yourself in that way? How can you make it easier for yourself with your kids? I say that to my kids, like, slightly different, but yes, all the time. Because my daughter's always, I'm hungry. And I go like, are you now? Are you really? Are you really hungry? Or are you just wanting something to eat? Like, start getting them to identify. Kids are the best, and they're intuitive eaters. They're naturally intuitive eaters. It's because society and everything that's around them starts conditioning them to like, oh, no, it's not time to pee yet. So of course not. You're gonna go pee, right? It's not time to eat yet because it's not lunchtime. So, so they kind of go, okay, I'm going to suppress my hunger now because lunchtime is at midday and not now at 10 o'clock, right? So start asking them, start going like, are you hungry or is it just a craving? When you start getting your kids to identify what is going on, right? They're going to thank you for it when they are our age. And I say our age very lightly because I have you guys have a very varied age bracket. Yeah. The famous quote is, I wish I was the size I was when I first thought I was fat. Oh my God, Ray and I are going through this constantly at the moment. She keeps getting up to grab a couple of Skittles when she's hungry, but now she's making herself have some water or grabbing an apple instead. Brilliant. Just ask yourself, what emotion is present? Like, I know this sounds so simple, but it is, I'm telling you, like, it'll change your life. If you start asking, am I facing my stuff? Where am I stuffing my face? So much easier to just grab a cookie, isn't it? Look at me. I actually have an apple right here. I just realized that. I have a green apple over here. And I was just looking at that apple, kind of go, yum, yum, yum. I feel like I want that apple. I start getting the sour, right? That's another thing about our minds thinking in pictures. I'm going to go back to that tomorrow. Anyway, okay. So, Elizabeth, please let me know if that helps. Tina, I know you're on. Can you please let me know if that is good? If that works for you, if that helped. Katie, I'm not a super visual person. I feel like I've always struggled with mental visualization, and that seems to be a large part of hypnosis. Is that something that will prevent me from getting the full experience? It's almost like I don't think in pictures, so I can create pictures in my mind. Or, Kate, we are already like friends here, right? Katie, what color is this apple? Okay, I bet you guys said green, right? You know, I have a theme green here. So now, that apple I just showed you, what color was it? If you said red, then I believe you that you can't create pictures in your mind. But if you said green, then your mind searched for what it was and you visualized it. Let that sink in. And maybe you're more of a kinesthetic person or a visual person, you know, and that is okay too. You don't have to be a visual person to be in hypnosis. You just have to follow instructions. And imagine. And if you feel like you can't visualize, pretend that you can. Like, you know, when we're playing with our kids and we're playing, you know, not hide and seek, but like playing house or playing, you know, that they're pirates and this is a ship and all of that. You know, all we do is we pretend that we are in a pirate ship and we start, you know, going, right? So for that, you need to remember what it was. Good, Katie. For that, you have to remember what it was like to see a pirate ship at a movie or anywhere else. So remember, every time we tell ourselves we can't, we definitely can't. If you say you can, you can. If you say you can't, you can't. Right? Whatever you tell yourself is definitely what is going to happen. Hope that helps, Katie. You will get the full experience, Katie. I think that after this live today, if you have any more questions, you definitely pop it in the group, please. I'm coming live tomorrow again. Tina, I wonder if we can talk emotions. Of course we can. At 41 years of age, I'm somewhat embarrassed to admit that I had to Google whether calm was an emotion. Once I tried to identify what emotions I was feeling, I found it hard to put them into words as they often don't fit with happy, sad, angry. No problem. That is very common too. Have you ever, I don't know if this sounds true to you, but when clients of mine come to me with this, they often have been in a family where it wasn't okay to cry. It wasn't okay. Oh, don't show people that you're happy because people are going to want what you have and people are going to be jealous and that's bad for you. So we are constantly, depending on your family and your culture. I am Jewish, right? Katie, I'm Jewish because you wanted to hear more about me. So I grew up around food. We would, go to feasts, like, every time that we would have any sort of Jewish holiday, we would go to my grandmother's house and it was like a massive feast. But I always heard this, like, oh, we're going to have a massive feast tonight. Maybe, I would hear my mother and my auntie actually saying, like my aunt actually saying, oh, I'm not going to eat it all because I'm going to already eat all of my calories tonight. So they are definitely suppressing their emotions. I also heard, oh, quiet down. You're too loud. Right? Because you're enthusiastic, because you're excited, and you start viewing these positive emotions even as wrong. And sad, angry, these are not bad things, right? They are strategies to achieve an outcome. For you to realize what is going on here. So if you're angry, I'm going like super, like this is like my course content, by the way. But, you know, I want to give this to you because all anger is something is not going the way that you want it to go because you're trying to control something external, right? And fear is something that we are avoiding, or, you know, that is probably going to give us a breakthrough. So that's why we're kind of going, oh, I'm stepping out of my comfort zone and da 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 da, right? So I think that the first thing that you need to do, Tina, is when you're doing the visualization, if you could do that, if you've already done it today, if you could do that again. If you're live here, please comment and let me know if you're here, because I want you to do this visualization again. And when I ask you to imagine your ideal self and whatever it is melting away, I want you to melt and release all of these expectations, all of these projections, ancestral projections that have told you that you weren't allowed to feel emotions, even unconsciously or consciously, between 0 to 7, or 7 to 14, or 14 to 21. You've replied. Hold on. Sounding familiar. A very level family. Rarely extremes of emotion. Mom always worried about eating and didn't let me have hardly any bad foods. I'm not surprised. It looks like I even do this for a living. Joking. I just needed to lighten up the mood. So please, Tina, when you are doing this hypnosis, imagine all of these expectations, projections, all of these family values of, if I'm too loud, I am going to bother people. Or feel free to reject what I'm saying if it doesn't apply to you. If I show my emotions, you know, if I show my emotions, then people are not going to like me. Or, and just allow yourself to receive. Okay, Gemma. Does that help, Tina? I was just doing some energy healing for you, so hopefully you got that. Gotcha. Does that help, Tina, though? You said thank you, but does that help? If you still have questions, pop them here. Yes, very much. Okay, good. Thank you. This is a side note to what you're saying, but I loved learning that my rebellious side was a good thing and my emotions are okay, even the ones that are seen as negative. They can all be derated. Exactly. Guys, like even anger is just a sign that you have something ready to explode. How can you use that amazing energy that you are misplacing into anger, which is just going to like cause your body to raise your, you know, blood pressure and all of that, and shift it towards a positive, right? And I'm not saying that in a 3-day challenge you're gonna do that. You're gonna start, but you know, see how you go throughout the challenge. And please ask me any questions if you need to. Always ask me questions. I'm always here for you guys during these 3 days. Obviously, after the 3 days, we have a 4th day, which is a bonus day, which is just for questions, because I know people catch up on these questions and all of that, and then they have more questions on the 4th day, and then they go like, oh, but there's no Q&A. Yes, there is a Q&A. It's an extra bonus day. Don't you worry. Right? I usually leave that to day 3 and I go like, oh, do you want a bonus day? But no, I'm cutting out the bullshit here. Cutting the crap. Right? This is my friend. It's to remind you all to cut the crap. Right? Cut the poop. So I'm cutting the crap myself. This challenge for me, every time I do any sort of challenge, any sort of change work with my clients, I'm also healing whatever needs to be healed in myself. When you go to the gym, if you go to the gym for a whole month and then you stop, chances are those little things might come back, right? You're not going to be fit, fast, strong for the rest of your life. You always have to kind of go and at least once a week, go to the gym. It's the same with meditations, the same with hypnosis. That's why all of my programs, I offer lifetime access. You know, I'm launching a new program at the end of this. You know, I'm going to tell you guys all about it on Wednesday. So, you know, of course, this is absolutely no obligation. Whoever wants to join is going to join. Whoever doesn't want to join won't join. But I'm here to help you change, right? To help you shift whatever it is that needs shifting. So I believe we have one last question. I don't mind going over time, by the way, as you guys can see. Oh, Tina, you're actually in Australia. Somehow I thought you were in the US as well. Okay, here. The other question, which is the last question, is Katie and I think other ladies too. Oh, who else? Oh, turn anger into determination. Yes, projections and expectations. 100% rule of my life over the years. Others became mine. Tina, knowing that you're from Australia is even more of an indication to me that this whole emotions and being suppressed with emotions was probably predominant in your life, because I have a lot of Australian clients and this seems to be a common thread. So just allow yourself to receive during the visualization. It's going to shift that for you. Allow those projections and expectations fully melt away, like butter in summer, or ice, or Olaf in summer, right? I don't know if you're also a nerd. Donna says, my what I thought was a joke, but I guess it's my mantra. Push it down deep. My emotions. I say that all the time. Not dealing with my stuff stuffing my face. Wow, Donna, thank you. I have so much gratitude for your share right now. Like this is big, my friend. This is like, wow. Of course, you don't have to answer anything you don't want, but I just love hearing about people and their journeys. Disney, yes. Did I tell you that I've been to every Disney World in the world? Every Disneyland in the world. The only one I haven't been to, bar one, and the only one I haven't been to was Shanghai. Every other one I have been to. That's how much I love Disney. Okay, so the last question is, love to hear more about my journey. How did I get into hypnosis? What made me want to become a dietitian? It's my favorite part of witnessing, helping someone on this journey. And just because I'm curious, why do I have an American accent? Well, I'm originally from Brazil. I was born in Brazil. I learned English since I was like 5 or 6 years old. I have gone to the US several times. Like I've learned English in the US, right? As an exchange student and all of that. So my accent used to be full on American. Yeah, so full on American. But I then I did my postgrad and my master's degree in England. So the accent started changing then. But I remember I used to meet people there who actually fully thought I was American. And I'd be like, no, I was born in Brazil. And I had to explain, and I always have to explain. And I've been here in Australia for 10 years now. 10 or 11 years now. So because I've been here for 11 years, the accent is like a full hybrid, right? And I have suffered from an eating disorder when I was growing up. And it took me a long time to actually admit this. And I've only come to admit this when I was about 37 years old. I'm 39, so it's only about 2 years. Yes, I'm 39 years old. So see, like I'm around the age of everybody in this group. And when I was a teenager and I was suffering through the binge and restrict and all of that cycle, I thought to myself, oh, I feel so unhappy. And yes, that's one of my best friends in England is Irish. So, I used to be thinking to myself, what do I want to do? And it took me a long time to actually understand what I wanted to do with my life. And then when I was seeing a psychologist for depression, I am a very big mental health advocate, and I've suffered from from depression in the past. I don't anymore. And I manage it, yes. And I was seeing a psychologist, and I decided, oh, well, if I want to heal my relationship with food, I'm going to go to do nutrition and dietetics at university. All that did was show me what other ways I could restrict, what other diets I could go into, what else I could do to my body that wasn't very healthy, right? So that's why I say, like, there is this strategy, which is the nutrition, should come after the mindset. Today we're talking about mindset. The second day we're going to talk about nutrition, and then we're going to talk about support, right? But the strategy, the outer wisdom, the outer information, knowledge is not power. Awareness is power. And this is why we start with mindset, because you need to get more aware of your feelings. And if you're stuffing down your feelings, and if you're telling yourself that your feelings are not valid, or if you're telling yourself that, you know, I'd rather be feeling good than feeling bad. Oh no, I can't talk loudly because, you know, I'm going to bother other people. I can't tell people what I'm feeling because it's not their problem. It's my problem. It's not a problem. It's a power. Awareness is power. Be aware. Be curious. Curious, not judgmental. Don't be judgmental. Just be curious. And that's what I started doing. So I went to the UK afterwards. So I went to England and did my master's degree in food technology, because I was fully a dietitian, a nutritionist who actually worked with food safety and all of that. So I worked for a chain of 11 restaurants in Brazil. I've worked for restaurants and, you know, working with Safer Food, Better Business in the UK. Here in Australia, I've worked for a big supermarket, which is called Woolworths, that I love, by the way. So it's like, that's why I choose Woolies, which is kind of like Walmart, right? And in the US, or Countdown in New Zealand. It is Countdown in New Zealand. Anyway, or in Brazil would be like Carrefour, right? So anyway, a big, you know, the leading supermarket chain, I would say, right? Though Aldi is actually coming close. But anyway, so I worked for them. And when I had my first child, Benji, he is 9 now. I remember that he was 6 months old. I put on a fair bit of weight at the time. I was beating myself up about it. I was in the worst shape mentally. After I had him, I had postnatal depression, like really bad postnatal depression, like I want to die postnatal depression, trigger warning. Oh, I should have said trigger warning before anything. So I will put a trigger warning on this at the end. Really bad postnatal depression, like how can I be so sad if I have a baby and I'm meant to be happy, right? So all the judgments and expectations that had been placed upon me, and the fact that I couldn't breastfeed, and hey, I'm a dietitian, I'm a nutritionist, breast is best, right? Can I just say, you guys, breast is not best, fed is best, okay? So like, there's just a side note. I know that now, but back then I didn't. So I've just given you 9 years of my life in like one sentence. Okay, so I digress a lot. Can you see how difficult it is for me to actually talk about this, that I go around in circles so much so that I don't go back into that place? It happens to all of us. And I want you to notice that it's not just you. I am just a few years ahead of you. I just have the outer knowledge, and I have gotten to know my inner knowledge, my awareness. But it is very hard for me to talk about this, hence why I've been going around making fun and jokes, because it's my defense mechanism. I hope you can see this. So you can see it's not just you, right? So I couldn't breastfeed. I stepped on the scales when Benji was 6 months old, and I was heavier than I was when I went into the hospital with him. So because of that, I just went, that's it. It's done. So that was when I put everything that I knew. I went on a diet. Yes. And then I released something like 25 kilos. That's why I said, like, I've been a size 16 and I was a size 16 and I was just like, this is hard. But I went way too far at the other end because I went back on my binge and restrict cycle because I wasn't working on this. I was only working on this. And because I was only working on this, I went all the way down to a size 00. And you guys in the US, you know, American Eagle is my favorite brand of jeans. Every time I go to the US, I come back with like 5 pairs. I remember going to the US at the time and I bought a 00 size and I was feeling so proud of myself because I bought a 00. And then I looked at myself in the mirror, like when I got to that 00, and I was like, oh my God, I can see my ribs. I can see all of this. This is just not good. So then I saw a psychologist as well. And I healed my relationship with food that way, right? By seeing someone. And then I started seeing a hypnotherapist. And you know what was funny? My first psychologist, the one that I had when I was a teenager and I was suffering from my first bout of depression, you know, she was a hypnotherapist. And I completely shut that out of my awareness until I saw this other one about 5 years ago. And it all shifted for me. It all shifted. I was used to going to see a psychologist every week because you gotta work on your mindset every week. But you don't need to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars to do that, because if you have to keep going back, and this is how I feel now, right? Of course you can keep going back just to checking in and all of that, but if you feel like that is an addiction, like, and I say this very lightly, but an addiction for you to be going back to tell about your problems and say everything that's going on with you, then it's actually not healthy in itself, right? It is great for you to be aware of what's going on, but shift it. You don't need to be going through it. Like every time you have a session with a hypnotherapist, with a psychologist, if you have to keep coming to me for the rest of your life, I'm not doing my job. I'm not doing my job. That's how I feel. Personal point of view, personal, right? And the reason why I love helping women so much in this is because I have a little girl now. And I started doing this after I had Penelope. Penelope is my little girl. She's 5. And she's almost 6. I started doing this after she was born because I don't know about you, but I craved my grandmother passed away when I was 14. I craved the love of my mother. Therefore, I feel free to reject what I'm saying if it doesn't apply to you. This is my story that I've let it go. I've done an Elsa. And I craved her love so much that I wanted to be like her. And what did she do? She binged and restricted. And I thought this was the right thing to do. I thought that this was the way. So I have seen that now. I've released that, and I did not want that to go through to my daughter. And I really do fully thank my mental health nurse when I was pregnant, because they put me on watch, obviously, because I had like a really bad postnatal depression. So they put me on watch. So I saw a prenatal mental health nurse for like the entire pregnancy. And that was what completely shifted my mindset and saved me, essentially saved my family. And then obviously I went to Tony Robbins. This is probably a story for another day. But this is why I chose to do what I'm doing now. And yeah, this is why I love it so much, because I can see like now I'm doing this challenge for free with absolute no expectation of what's going to happen afterwards. Because I tell myself, look, I am here to serve. I am here to show you that it can end with you. If you think that your eating disorder or your disordered eating is genetic, then it stops with you. It doesn't go down to your children anymore. And that's why I'm here. I'm here so that I can empower you, so that you can take your power and make it stop with you, because you can stop this. The only thing that you can control in life is your mental attitude, are your choices. Because even when you're choosing to eat the entire pack of Oreos, because that's me, even if you're choosing to eat the entire pack of Oreos, this is your choice. Still a choice. Still a choice. What would it happen if you made easier choices? Katie said, I love it. Thank you so much for your honesty and vulnerability. It helps to see someone successful who is really just like me. Oh, thank you. I want you guys to think that I'm not better than anyone. I am just a few steps ahead of you. That's it. You will get to where I am. This was your first step. Because you're ready to cut the crap. Get rid of the crap. Mr. Pooh says, get rid of me. Send me to the toilet. Cut the crap. Choose happy. Make it easy. That's it, Gemma. But don't keep saying to yourself, like, make it easy, make it easy. Make it a question. Because your unconscious mind will search for the answer. If you say to yourself, make it easy, maybe you don't believe it, then you're going to go, no, I can't. I can't do that. I can't choose happy. I can't make it easy. You can just make it a question and go like, how can I make it easy? How can I choose happy today? What else can I do to make myself happy today? Right? Gemma, Crystal is online. She's your friend, I know. Okay, I'm so jealous of mental health care in other countries. Definitely something we struggle with in the US. There's almost no mental health support pre or postnatal in the US, and it is rough. I can imagine. I have a friend who's a neurosurgeon in the US. My sister lives in Canada. I don't know if I mentioned that, but my sister lives in Canada. She says it's the same really in Canada. And my cousin lives in Houston, Texas. And yeah, he says it's the same, that it's all private. And yeah, I feel for you. But the one thing that I can tell you is you can, if there is a will, there is a way. If it's important to you, you find a way. If it's not important to you, you find an excuse, right? So if it is mental health support that you need, there are several groups online that you can go on. And if you can't afford it, that's what I mean. Because here in Australia, it is free up to a point. It's not free the entire time. You do have to pay for some of it, and it is expensive, but it's one of those things that you need to put and weigh. How much more money will you spend, or will you waste, or will you lose? Wasting your mindset on, what am I doing? Oh my gosh, I can't do this. How much more food are you going to buy just because of scarcity or because of anything like that to you paying a practitioner, right? And of course, I'm like, at the end of this, you guys know I am going to promote my program, but I really do want this to sink in. It doesn't need to be with me, right? If you want to have a chat to me, message me privately. Let's jump on a call for 20 minutes and we'll see if it's right for you to work with me. But if it's not, I am not going to force you, because I am here to serve. I'm here to actually help you shift. Create a shift in 3 days. And this will be my biggest realization this week. If one of you or two of you make one shift or already have one mindset shift, this will make my week, because that's what I'm here for. If I could have changed one thing in your lives this week, that, my friends, would make me so grateful. And I'm actually getting emotional. See, I don't really stuff down my emotions anymore, do I? Okay, so are there any other questions? Wow, have we been here for 1 hour and 8 minutes. It's fine. If you guys don't mind, I don't mind. It's more like I'm very conscious of your time. 72 comments. Wow, guys, you're amazing. Can you let me know if there are any other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to end here and we can come back tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here, ladies. I really appreciate you holding space for me at the end, so I was vulnerable and showing you, you know, the real me. This is a big, big thing for me in 2021, is that now I am not hiding behind a mask anymore. That was a little bit like, because I have to hide behind a mask because it's COVID. But you know what I'm saying? No, I'm not going to be hiding behind a metaphorical mask anymore. This is me. I am who I'm meant to be. And so are you. Let's enhance that. Have a wonderful day or evening. Go do the meditation. Go do the visualization. Please come back and let me know. Oh, that's so great, Belinda. Yes, thank you so much. I found you while scrolling through Instagram Reels and connect so much to what you're saying and what you have gone through. Thank you so much, Belinda. It is absolutely my pleasure. Thanks, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Always remember, health is not a size, it's a feeling. And think about, are you facing your stuff? Are you stuffing your face? What emotions are present? Tomorrow, I want to hear in the chat what emotions were present. Let's shift them. Mwah. Bye, guys. Love ya.